Hi, everyone. My name is Lee Willis, and I am from Loan Depot in Los Angeles, and I have my great friend Anas Afti. And this episode of Mortgage Madness is called.
It's funded until it's not funded.
So, Anas has a great story. Actually, not a great story. So we'll jump into this. You told me the story during the break, and unfortunately, I've heard of this. It's never happened to me. But give me your story.
So it was about like 4 years ago, back in Lancaster. And we did this FHA loan for this young couple, and their realtor was double ending, like we say in our industry, doing a dual agency, representing both the seller and the buyer. And everything went well. The loan was approved, and we were at the funding table. So, I was more focused at that moment to see
So
the
just
funds
to,
in.
so just to give you everyone a quick preview on stuff like that, because we're on the mortgage industry, we kind of know what goes on. So basically, you get a loan, you get it approved, and then the loan, it goes to something called CTC, which is clear to close. So that means that you got your approval, you finish your conditions, and then now you are closing or signing docs. Okay. So that's where we're at right now, right? So they're about to sign docs, or they did sign docs.
Now, they did sign docs, and I was waiting for their wire to hit at the
Okay.
escrow account. And
So explain that a little bit. So for
so
people.
basically, when you're done with your loan, you wire your fund to the escrow company to actually be able to close your loan. And then the bank will fund the loan, and the next day usually it records. So
Yeah.
this is
So
the chain that happens at that moment.
Yeah. So just to clear that up a little bit, what happens is escrow asks for a wire from the bank. The bank wires the money to escrow or title in some states. And then from there, technically the loan is funded. Then the escrow takes that and then disperses the funds to seller, so on and so forth, commissions, everything like that. But when a wire goes out in the mortgage industry, we call it funded. It's in our world, it is done. Wires left the bank.
Yeah, here we are, Friday morning. This is the last day of the month, and everything looks okay, ready to close. So the funds arrived at about 1:30. Our cutoff was at 2 p.m., so I was pretty stressed. And there's something called the statement of information that the seller fills in to see if there is any outstanding liens against him or judgments against him or anything like that. And I called the funding manager, and he was okay making an exception and fund the loan without that statement of information, assuming that everything was clean.
Okay, so let me explain. The statement of information, you guys, anybody that is buying or selling a house, the title company will send you a statement of information. And this is basically what have you done for the last 10 years? Where have you worked, lived, everything like that. And you're supposed to fill that out because there are a lot of people that have similar names. So you could be John Smith and there's 1,000 John Smiths. So they're using your information to get more information on your particular house in this sense, right? So what happened is the client did not fill out that statement of information. And now I'm assuming they had to fill it out there or they
Yeah,
didn't fill it out.
so I called the agent. He went to his house, made him fill it out, texted it, took a picture, texted it to escrow, just so they can do end title, so they can do their research on the person.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is around 4 p.m., I received a phone call saying that there is a tax lien against
Right. You
this.
gotta help with the story.
So here we are, 4 p.m. I receive a phone call from escrow telling me that they found something. At that moment, I didn't know what was going on. The transaction closed as far as I'm concerned. And then they tell me what happened. So the seller has a tax lien, a substantial tax lien
Yeah, this
that,
isn't a few bucks, right?
yeah, no, it's huge. And then I put a meme. And normally you would pay that tax lien with the proceeds. That's what everybody does.
Okay, so let's just give a quick example. What happens is if a house is worth $1 million, you have a loan of $500,000. The $500,000 is paid off from your mortgage company. Seller gets the $500,000 minus commissions. But if there's a lien in there, then those proceeds basically get cut.
So the seller refused to pay that lien. Therefore, we cannot close the transaction.
But
Let
Anas,
me.
you said we funded.
Yes, that's what I told my bank. You said you funded. So I was puzzled and I was thinking what I'm gonna tell my clients.
Yeah, so here's a situation where you got everyone ready to close this loan. They're probably trying to move in on the weekend. They've made arrangements. Your sellers have made arrangements. The realtor is thinking like, okay, we're done. Move on to the next one. Great transaction. And you have a huge problem here because this is the whole point of title insurance. The whole point of title insurance is that your title is clear. When you buy a house, the only lien is going to be that lien. Now, tax liens cannot go away. So, guess what? The people that buy that house now, if it closed and they didn't find this, that tax lien follows them. And you got all kinds of problems because now the lender has a lien. That tax lien takes first position, and then your mortgage is actually the second position. So the whole point of title insurance is title insurance says, like, we know this house is clean and we are insuring that fact. So what happened?
So what happened is something out of this world.
Wow.
It's something that I never seen before and I never seen again. The bank unfunded the funds.
And
And
what happened to the whole transaction?
and the transaction didn't go through.
So I think there's a bunch of good stuff here that honestly help. Like, I think there's a ton of good lessons here. The first lesson is, technology can only catch so much. And when there are reasons, we have to have all the information up front. And I think all parties, loan officer, realtor, escrow agents, they all have to tell us, like, if the borrower is not filling that stuff out, we have to take extra measures to make sure it is filled out. Because I will say this, 99% of the time, it is caught early. They run a title search, it's caught. But in this case, it wasn't. And that's where the problem starts.
So it's the seller. So maybe we should, like, when we have that information, we should inform the agent representing the seller to actually step in to get that filled ASAP.
100%. It's a team sport. And look, when you have realtors, title, escrow, loan officers, we're all a team and we're all trying to make this happen. And I will tell you, there's been a bunch of instances when someone's not fully upfront with the stuff, it can be a red flag. What they could be hiding knowingly or unknowingly, like maybe they didn't even know they had a tax lien. Some people don't. I mean, if I had a significant tax lien, I'd probably know. But it's not like the IRS doesn't give you enough notice, and that's a red flag, and it's easier to catch this stuff up front so you can talk about it and see if it's worth moving forward instead of wasting everyone's time.
And the other lesson, if you're planning to list your home, make sure you don't have any tax liens or anything like that, because that will not make the transaction move forward.
So for Anas and myself, if you have any questions, give me a call. If you're a realtor, a loan officer, please send me a DM or an email. I'd love to hear your story. We could have you on the show. Or if you don't want to be on the show, just tell me it and I'll relay it. So thank you for joining us again and have a good one.